Hello, friend. Welcome to day number 3. I am Leigh Koechner, and this is FYG GYG, Find Your Gift, Give Your Gift. I'm so happy that you are here. If we could start with 3 breaths, just to get on the same page. Today, when we breathe in, think of something you want more of in your life. So maybe you can use something from your intention. If you want more love, if you want more abundance, if you want more connection, whatever it is. So today I'm going to breathe in patience, and I'm going to exhale being reactive. So those are 2 things that I'm going to breathe in and bring in more, and then exhale to release from my body. So if you would close your eyes and think about your word. And when we breathe in through our nose, you're going to breathe in that word, and then you're going to exhale out your word. So we'll take our first breath in through our nose, and out through our mouth, in through our nose, and out through our mouth. Breathe in that word through your nose, and out through your mouth, release. Thank you so much for that. So today, we talked about being big, being outrageous, being vulnerable, experience everything, and allowing yourself to be silly and bold during this 33-day process. And yesterday we talked about who we really are. We're not these labels, we're not these stories, we're not the spinning struggles in our head. We are divine, powerful beings temporarily housed in these earth suits. But today I'm excited because we're going to get our first tool to the path of finding our purpose. And today it is looking at our childhood. And I'm very excited about this because we are born with everything we need to fulfill our purpose. And when we're young, we are uninhibited, we are precious, we are fresh, we are not caring what other people think, our light has not been covered, we are free to play and engage the way that we were created. So we are going to explore that part of our lives today. Research, and I agree, that many of our childhood excitements and dreams hold clues to our adult purpose. But people are not encouraged when they're young to pay attention to those clues to why they're on the planet, that it's showing them in the moment why they're on the planet. So as a result, we grow up, we become adults, and we wonder, why in the hell am I on this planet? And then we have to start peeling back all these layers to get back to the foundation of who we really are. So today we're going to allow our minds to go back in time to our childhood. We're going to reflect on, and we're going to look at those clues today, and we're going to use our journal today to jot them down. So let's revisit your childhood today. Open your journal. Should probably still be the first page, unless you put a lot of labels and then wrote the quote that I asked you to write of who you really are, the truth of who you are. Under that, if you haven't done that yet, leave a little room for some labels, my quote, and then start. You maybe go to the next page if you'd like to. And write the word childhood. Okay? So now you can put your hand on top of your journal to keep it open, but I'm going to ask that you close your eyes. Close your eyes, and once again, just take a few breaths. And as you're taking calm, relaxed breaths, think that this is a time for me. This is a special time I'm dedicating to myself. So I say all of my worries and stresses, I ask you to take a back seat right now. You don't have to leave or push them away. Just push them aside. All of the things I'm worried about after I have to get off this, that I have to do on my to-do list, you're still going to be there when I'm done. I'm going to push it aside. And I'm going to honor this time right now to do this process. So with your eyes closed, keeping them closed, please. Think back when you were young, when you were little. Think back as far as you can. Can you go to junior high? Can you go even further back to elementary school? Sometimes I try and picture a picture of myself that I can remember of when I was little, a photo, a school photo. Picture your face. Picture a time even before elementary school, if you can go back to preschool and remember your teacher or a friend or a party or going to Disneyland, something of when you were even as far back as preschool. So try and go back to a time when you had no fears, no cares of what other people thought of you. Whenever is like a good time frame for you to picture your face, to picture joy, to see yourself playing, to remember a favorite toy or a game or a stuffed animal or a friend, when you were free to play and explore and have fun. What do you look like? As much as you can, try to keep your eyes closed, because when you do that, you can really focus more on your thought. You can visualize more on the clean slate of your closed eyeballs. Where are you? What do you look like? Are you happy? Are you playing? Go back as far as you can. What does that little face look like? What were those hands doing? What was the most fun thing for you to do at that age? What brought you the most joy? When were you laughing and running and free? What were you doing? What came easy to you? When you had spare time, what did you do in your spare time? After school, when your homework was done, what did you do? What were you really enthusiastic about, or what you looked forward to? Now open your eyes when you're ready and jot down anything that you saw, anything that you felt. Go to your journal and just write down what you were doing, what you looked like, how old you were, how you felt, how your body felt as an adult, remembering that experience. When you were lit up, when you were excited, when you wanted to run and tell somebody what you did, what you were proud of, when you were free. So just jot down whatever popped in your head, a dress, how your hair was, what you were in your hands, who you were with. If you were laughing, think about when you were laughing, what were you laughing about? Anything that comes up for you, jot it down. And as you're writing down, think about this as well. What did you want to be when you grew up? Can you think of that? Can you think of one time saying, when I want to grow up, I want to be like my dad. He was a doctor. I want to be a doctor like my dad. When I grow up, I want to make these Lego sets and be paid for it. Like, I'm so good at this. Was there anything that you thought, when I grow up, I want to be? Ever. Even if it's something that's ridiculous. I want to be in a, or no, it's not ridiculous. I'm going to say something that's actually not ridiculous, but it might feel so now. I want to be in a circus. I want to juggle. I want to walk on stilts. I want to train elephants. I want to work with tigers. I want to, whatever it is that you once thought, I want to be this when I grow up. Write that down in your journal. Now think about, what are your greatest childhood memories? Was it a trip you went on? Was it when your dad took you fishing? Was it when you went horseback riding as a family, or family game night, or playing board games, or learning cards with your grandma? Or what was your greatest childhood memories? The trip you took to Disneyland, the time you got to meet Mr. Rogers, or he called your name out on the show at the end, or whatever that was when they called your name out. That wasn't Mr. Rogers. But whatever you can think of, like, what was your greatest childhood memories? When you got that award, when you won that football game, when you made your first basket, when you got your first dog, when your dad looked in your eyes and you could see that he really loved you. What are some of your greatest childhood memories? And just take a moment right now and think about that. And then jot down whatever pops up. Some of my greatest childhood memories were when I did something that was kind of cool or funny or ballsy or wild, and I saw my dad light up. When I saw him notice me, or when I saw him see me, or when I saw his acknowledgement of seeing who I was, are some of my greatest childhood memories. And also he had really big hands, and he was a little rough, but when he'd sit next to me, he'd put his hand on my head like this, like when we were watching a football game. And even though it pounded and his wedding ring hit my forehead and he was messing my hair up, like I longed to feel it. Like when his hand would come, I was like, I have all of my dad right now. Like those simple little memories that meant so much to you. Think about those and just jot them down in your journal, whatever comes up for you. How did you spend your weekend or your time after school? I know I asked that, but think about when you were done with that, or you're done with your chores, or what could you not wait to do once you got done with your homework or your chores, or you know what I mean, your events on the weekend. Now I have free time to read a book. Now I have free time to go for a walk. Now I have free time to do imaginative play under the willow tree in the backyard. Now I have free time, like I used to go into my closet and I put pillows down, and I used to pretend that it was the I Dream of Jeannie, that was the bottle. And I would have my whole make-believe world in my closet and get to act it out. Sometimes I would invite friends in. So think about things like that and allow your mind to be childlike and to be free to just receive whatever comes up and write it down. What lit you up before you were a tween or the teen years, before you cared about what other people thought? What lit you up? What excited you? Going for a walk, singing, doing, now my daughters would be Musically, but what excited you? To write poetry, to talk to a friend, to be a good listener. What lit you up? And just jot down whatever pops into your head. Because these right now, we don't have to go too deep right now. And you can revisit these later in the day, but we just want to start the thinking and allow what comes up, just little words and memories and outfits and smiles and who is around you to just come down on the page for you to reference. Okay, now we're going to shift the thinking a little bit, and you're going to continue to listen to my words and be open with no judgment and no trying to what pops in your head, and write it down. These are just little clues that you're allowing your subconscious to share with you right now. So, what were you known for or labeled? Studious, kind, funny, smart, talkative, a great reader, fat, skinny, athletic, clumsy, nerd, a loner, a great dancer. What do you remember the labels were? It don't necessarily have to be good or bad or mean or nice. It's just like whatever you remember that people said about you. You're a smart aleck, you're a smart ass, you're a wise ass, you're hilarious, oh my gosh, you're such a good listener, I feel so safe when I talk to you. You're a great writer. Like, what were the things or the affirmations you got, or the things that people noticed about you? What were some of your labels when you were young? So now I'm going to share some things that I wrote. Right before I did this, I jotted mine down, just like you're doing right now. So I'm going to share some things that popped up for me. And then as you hear mine, it might make you remember something about yourself or something opposite about yourself. I started some clubs or groups with my friends. Like one in elementary school, all the girls put their hands on their hip like this. And it was like our stance club. And like my girlfriends, we just stood like this, and we knew we were in our club on the playground. So it's ridiculous, but I started these little groups. And later in high school, our volleyball team had some silly name that we made up, and we all got it on our shirt. And then on the back, we had names on it. Some of the girls in this group were in that. My name was like Spastic, and I mean, we all had just different words that were on the back. So I started little groups with my friends. I loved to make people laugh. I was outrageous. I was brave. I was fearless. I took on every dare. If somebody goes, I dare you to do this, I always did it. And I usually always got in trouble, but I was like, it was worth it because I did what they thought was impossible, or I did it anyway. Who cares? I'm gonna get in trouble. As long as I wasn't getting spanked too hard, it was all right. I was tough. I wanted to help the weak people by beating up the other kids that were mean to them. So I fought a lot in elementary school. Up until about 4th grade, I was getting in fist fights. And if somebody was mean to one of my friends or my siblings, I'd wait for them behind a bush and I'd beat them up. Not the best way to handle things. Not condoning that. I was quick-witted to adults in school. I would come right back with something when they'd say something to me to kind of be mean or shitty to me. I'd come right back to it. I usually get in trouble, but I did it. I did pranks on the phone. I pranked people all the time on the phone, and I also did it sometimes with cafeteria food. I struggled in school. I had dyslexia and ADD, and both were undiagnosed, so I just thought I sucked. My dad said I had more balls than anyone he'd ever met, and I remembered that, and that has compelled me to use balls as an adult. I think I have my necklace on that says compassion and balls. And compassion because I think it's one of the most beautiful giving ways to live to ourselves and to others. And balls because it's fun to be bold and be brave. I was the first president in John Deemer in 6th grade. I beat out one of the girls in this group. Don't mean to rub salt in that wound if it's still around, Karen, but she beat me a gal beat me at sergeant at arms in 4th grade, and then I came back and became the president in 6th grade, first girl president, kind of cool there. I got excited about that and lost my place. I loved going to the hospital to watch my dad perform surgery. I loved horseback riding, fishing whenever we could. I was a cheerleader, was not that into fashion, but I liked having my hair played with or done. I said what I thought or felt. I lived my way. I did stuff that made me laugh. I played make-believe in my closet like I dream of Jeannie. I hid under the willow tree in the backyard and pretended it was my private clubhouse. I hung out at the mall. I knew every manager that worked at the mall. I got free stuff from all of them. Taco Villa, I got free nachos. At Topsy's, I got free popcorn balls. I played Atari with the manager at the Atari store. I ran the mall. It was my place. I was the queen of the mall. Okay, so think about your words. If I kind of got you going, jot down your words, the things that you did, the things that you can remember. Jot those down in the journal. And then once you do, you can start to think about what kind of work or what kind of positions in life would those things benefit? Would those things fit into? What kind of occupations would being funny, being brave, being bold, helping other people, like all of the little clues, like what kind of things on your list could be used as an adult. So you have your first list of kind of what you were good at in your childhood and seeing yourself be open and free. And now we have a list of things that we actually did that came easy to us and natural that could parlay into adulthood. Take a minute to write down the words or the possible directions or jobs that you could do with those skills. You don't really have to do that right now. It's just something to think about moving forward. Okay, so that we have two kind of things that we've done so far about our childhood. This is a third one, and one completely different, and one that I really love. And this could be something that brings up a lot of memories for you. It could bring up sadness. It could bring up happiness. It could bring up empowerment. It could bring up kind of all the stuff that's holding you back right now. So what I want to say before we do this one is to make the commitment to be gentle with yourself, to know that we are not doing therapy right now. We are not really feeling and experiencing old hurts. We are using them as a guide. Okay, so I just want to give that little thing up top. So what now we're going to look at is, how was your home? How were you treated in your home? Were you abused? And I have a whole thought thing is, things happened to us when we were young, but they're not happening to us now. So we can have a new relationship with the memory or the person or the thought in our head, a new relationship with ourself, how we react to the past, okay? So if you were abused sexually or physically, I was physically abused by really intense, rageful spankings with a leather belt that, with my pants down, that hit my pants, but he was so mad that sometimes it went up my back and I'd have purple, welts up and down my back and my bottom. And I was the kid in my family who got in trouble the most, so that happened more often than the rest of my siblings. So I'm not currently a victim of being beaten. I'm not currently physically in harm. I have forgiven my father and I understand why he did that. And I have broken the path with my children. So now I can see it as a gift that I have been given to heal, learn, and grow and help other people kind of around that arena. So allow yourself to just be aware and have awareness, but not attach emotions or feelings to. We don't need to go there. But just what happened in your home? Were you neglected? I was. Did you feel alone? I did. What hurt you? Or what, like now, are you currently blaming other people's for? Like, use that kind of information. And here's why it's powerful and important. Here's why. For me, I felt alone. I didn't feel seen or heard in my home. I felt like I didn't matter because my mother was mentally ill, my dad was gone, and there were 6 of us in our home just trying to fend for ourselves. So I grew up with a sense of unworthiness, right? And I also felt alone. So what's interesting for me now is the foundation of my work is built. The foundation of my work is you are not alone. You are never alone. Even when you feel like it's somebody else is going through it, we are all connected and God is inside of us. When you kind of see a pattern of things like this, and another example I can give is my son Charlie really struggled and things got so bad that it was the best decision to actually send him to a therapeutic boarding school for 2 years where he learned who he was. He got to stand up on his own and make his own decisions without me trying to do everything and help him all the time. So I got to have some freedom. And I got to see my other kids. He got to learn who he was. But what I told him was, Charlie, you have been given some really different experiences that most kids have had. And kids are now calling you that you went to school with saying, hey, I'm going through a hard time. Can you help me out? And Charlie helps him navigate it. I said, be aware of the struggles you had and be aware how you have overcome them and be aware how you are now helping other people because these are all big clues of what you can do. Not that you have to go be a therapist or you have to go be a counselor at that place, but you can weave these things in. You can write a book. You can help kids. Like whatever you become, these are really powerful tools that you have in your tool belt because you've struggled and overcome them, right? So if you were raped and you grieved that and you've healed from that, you've had therapy from that, you have forgiven the person, not because what they did was right, but because you choose to no longer beat yourself up that happened. Maybe you can use that experience to help people who are at the bottom of the barrel that it just happened with. Do you see what I'm saying? So look at your childhood. So I got hit too hard. I'm not going to hit. I was neglected, or my perception of life was neglect because my mother's mentally ill, but I perceived it as she didn't like me. And so I can help people overcome unworthiness. I can help people know that you're not alone, even if you feel alone and even if you're hurting. You're not alone. So anyway, I use the kind of hurts from my childhood to parlay into the life I'm living right now. So that's a whole nother section to look at from your childhood. What did you overcome? What did you endure? And how can that guide you of being of service today? Okay, another thing, what came naturally to you? I'm going to use my daughter Audrey for this. Audrey is, I don't want to say a neat freak because freak is a label word that I don't like. Audrey feels the happiest when things are organized. So when her room is in check, when her room is in order, she cleans it and she has it just so, and she's happy and she can breathe and it's uncluttered. So not only is that a gift for her, but it's a freedom to have a room that's organized, right? Because I'm unorganized at times and I feel overwhelmed. So that's a gift that comes natural to her. She is now, because she's rooming with one of the wildest, messiest people I know, her 6-year-old sister Eve. Don't mean to label her, but she doesn't give a crud. She'll drop her food, she'll throw her clothes on the floor, sneaky shoes on her bed. She could care less. Audrey, instead of fighting and continually being anxiety-ridden and upset, is now befriending Eve and teaching Eve how to pick up her room. She taught Eve last night how to make her bed. As a matter of fact, I walked in and I said, who the heck made Eve's bed this morning? Eve goes, I did. I go, you? My scruffy, wild-ass person who doesn't care. She goes, yeah, Audrey taught me last night. Look how she taught me how to fold my blankets. Audrey took this thing that was really big to her heart that she needed to feel good in her room and used it as a fun activity to teach Eve how to do it. I was blown away. That's a gift. So I got to tell Audrey today, too, to write that stuff down because that is showing her her natural leadership and what's important to her and what she's good at. Audrey's an organizer. What kind of jobs in the future could Audrey do, right? To utilize what comes natural to her and what brings her joy and what makes her feel healthy and happy. Children are pure love, uninhibited, innocent, and authentic. Our authentic self can reveal our best self. I don't like that sentence I wrote. As you answer the questions that we talked about and reflect, notice which area, or you can even think back now, which areas made you feel really good right now as an adult, remembering. That's a giant clue. What brought you joy right now? That's a big clue to your calling. As an adult, my career revolves around bringing out the best in people in a variety of ways. I think I actually copied and pasted that from somebody because that is not my word. So I'm going to rephrase that for myself. I think it was a note for myself to think about. So as an adult, I'm using the things that I have learned to help other people, and it's bringing me great joy, and it's sharing the hard work that I've done with myself and the wisdom that I've learned from it. So I feel like I'm in line with what I'm supposed to be doing using old hurts. And what I believe is a part of my purpose here on earth, to shine my light and to bring more joy into the world. So I have kind of realized what I'm good at, and I'm good at being funny, and I like being in front of people. How can I use that to make a difference in the world? Doing these things, connecting with you, having fun, and showing that it's kick-ass to be human. We don't have to be spiritual and all perfect and do everything right all the time. So I want to shine my light and bring more joy to the world. What about you? What role do your childhood play in your life now? Or perhaps what role would your childhood fun memories, what would you like to bring back? What would you like to use? As you go through the day today, throughout the day, think about these things. Have your journal close by and just jot down whatever you might in an hour remember, oh my gosh, I forgot I used to love to bake all the time. Remember how much joy I used to bake and take them to the teachers and how good that made me feel. Like whatever it is, jot it down, write it down. Our childhood is our first guide of why we're on the planet. The gifts we were given from neglect or abuse or whatever helps to guide who we are and what we can use to teach if we've healed from them. And if you haven't, I encourage you to, because it's so freeing to no longer be held back and hurt by those stories, but empowered by them. This is the first big chunk of what's important for you to find your purpose today. Dear God, thank you for our childhood. Thank you for everything that came with it. Let us pull from the joy, from the freedom, from the peace, and pull from the heartache to let all of that shape who we are today and how we can use that to be in line with our purpose. I'm grateful for everyone watching. Send them love and light today. And I just feel grateful. Amen. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow on day 4 of FYG and GYG. Have a great day.